Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural podcast of 2Mikes1Mic. You don't know us. Well, actually, that's not true. If they're listening to the first show, they probably do know us.
The only people that know us are listening to this, right?
That's right. So it's us. It's Mike. It's Mike and Mike, the two idiot friends that said they're going to do a podcast.
Because we gave up on making movies.
Yes. We took the easy road. We took the lazy man route, podcasting. All we have to do is talk to each other.
So everybody in the podcast world already hates us.
Yeah, but we're friends, so
Real talk.
We should be able to talk to each other.
Yeah,
But
damn right.
I think it's going to be a little awkward because we know we're being recorded.
Nah, I'm over it already.
Well, yeah, but Mike's a showman. So
Tell about yourself, Michael Consolmagno. A little bit about yourself.
you want me to talk?
Just in case there's some
Do
strangers
you want
on
Michael
here.
Consolmagno to talk about Michael Consolmagno, Michael Zarzana?
2 minutes.
2 minutes of myself?
Go.
How about a half hour of myself?
2,
You
go.
got to fill up time.
2, go.
2 minutes of me
Real
talking
quick.
about me.
Sum it
All
up.
right. My name is Michael Consolmagno.
Michael Joseph Consolmagno.
It's spelled exactly how it sounds. So, I was someone who was a chemist, and I decided I didn't want to do chemistry anymore when my job fired me. So I decided to go into movies, and I got to the point where I'm actually able to work on real movies. I've worked on Gotham. I've worked on Jessica Jones. I currently work on Luke Cage. I've worked on a show called White Collar. I've done bits day playing on a show called Treem, which is on HBO, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I was The Big Wedding, which was a Robert De Niro movie.
So you work in the industry.
I work in the industry.
Okay.
I went from being someone who was not in the industry to working in the industry. And I know a lot of people that listen to podcasts, especially film podcasts, which is what our criteria that we're going to be on iTunes under is film, would want to know what goes on in the industry. But that's not all we're going to talk about, but it's something that we do.
Yeah.
And Mike, I know you have a background in filmmaking as well.
My name is Michael Anthony Zarzana. I'm going to use my middle name like you didn't use your middle name for this one, which I did.
Maz. He's almost like the Miz, but he's the Maz.
Get the TARDIS out of here. My name is Michael Anthony Zarzana. I started off my entertainment career in high school trying to be a professional wrestler. I did that for a few years. Then I got into the stunt stuff.
Well, what are you talking
years
about
ago.
professional wrestling in high school?
Like I want to be a pro wrestler. Like for the
Because you're
WWF.
like 4'8", so how are you gonna be a pro
First,
wrestler?
if you're 2 inches shorter than me, I'm 5'8", but that's another reason. I'm 5'8". In high school, I was 5'8" and 145 pounds, and that was a joke.
So that's professional wrestling right there.
That was a joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth about professional wrestling.
Well, there's nothing wrong with professional
There's
wrestling.
nothing wrong with professional wrestling. You love it, so stop it. But anyway, so I tried I threw my hat in that for a few years. Realized it was a lot more than I thought, and I just physically couldn't do it for a long period of time. But I love to act, and I liked, as all the shorts we filmed together, and the festivals we got into. I've found a way into the stunt work. I've been doing some stunt work for a few years now on Gotham and Forever and
Blue Bloods.
Blue Bloods.
That's correct. Yep.
I did something else too, but honestly I don't remember what it was.
It was
I was driving a car.
It was probably a day on something. I mean,
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
yeah. There's so much work going on in New York right now, which is where we're where we're
Located.
coming out of. We are coming out of New York, particularly Staten Island.
We're Staten Island based.
That's right, Staten Island.
Shaolin!
Staten, Italy. Wow, you just blew the mics up.
The word.
That went to the red.
Boom.
So maybe we'll get Method Man on the show.
I'm always, we could get Method Man on
We
the
could
show.
probably get Method
He's
Man on the
like,
show.
absolutely not. Crackers.
What are you talking about? Method Man is not like that.
We're both Italian, by the way.
Yeah, so we're not.
I'm Sicilian. What are you?
I'm Napolitan and Barese.
Oh, all right.
For those of you that don't know, Italy is broken up into different regions, and all those regions have their own little stereotypes. So
Sicilians are the best looking.
Sicilians are also, you have to watch your wallet around. I never keep my
That's
wallet
not
out
true.
around Sicilians.
We're beautiful people. All right.
Listen.
Okay. Good.
All right, we were getting off track here, but to talk about us, Mike. So you talk about professional wrestling,
Yes.
right? And this is important because this led you into your stunt work because it gave you the physical capabilities to handle stunt work.
Yeah.
So you said you got involved in high school. How long did you actually do it for?
Well, I joined the Tottenville wrestling team.
Yeah.
Coach Cooper.
You also coach soccer, by the way.
Yeah, but I don't care about soccer. But yeah, so I did that for the only simple fact is I thought I needed to do background work. Get a background in
You thought
professional
you needed
wrestling.
Greco-Roman.
Yeah, I don't like these headphones.
All right, take them off.
Yeah.
You thought
They're
you needed
Bluetooth, which
Greco-Roman wrestling.
Yeah, I thought I needed some kind of a, like a resume before I got into pro wrestling. Not that I know you do not need that at all, but it does help because in the business sometimes guys try to take advantage, and it's good to be able to handle yourself. Yes, it's fake to the extent that it is planned out.
Yeah.
But I being 5'8", 145, 55 pounds, wrestling guy that's 220 pounds, the guy was actually 220 pounds. So he may try to move me around if he didn't like if he wasn't doing a good job, so he wanted to show his toughness.
Yeah, or if the audience was liking you more for whatever reason, and he gets a little jealous.
It's a real world. It's a real scenario.
What do you think is more important? Is the physical aspects more important than the entertainment aspects? Or is it you're an entertainer first that knows how to kind of handle their body?
Yeah, you're an entertainer first. Like you have to, and you're there to entertain. If you want to be a tough guy, or if you want to be able to beat other people, then you join mixed martial arts, or boxing, or you want to really beat a guy, then go really beat a guy.
Yeah.
Don't be a tough guy in something where you're not supposed to be a tough guy. Your job, what you learn is the number one thing is how to protect the person you're working with.
Which leads you to stunt work because you don't want to hurt. It's got to look real, but it's got to be able to do multiple takes. It's got to be fake. You don't want to hurt the guy.
Yeah.
So professional wrestling helps you learn your body and learn how to manipulate other people's bodies in a way that it's impressive looking, but it's also somewhat safe.
Yeah.
So you're not. So you could do it night after night and not hurt each other.
Much, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much.
And what kind of wrestling style were you doing? You're a small guy, so I'm assuming you were.
Well, I mean, I was able to fly around a little bit, but I didn't like that was the big problem. I didn't like doing that. I like to wrestle.
Oh, you like to grapple.
I like to do the story. I like the story. I didn't want to have to. Luckily in school there weren't that many big guys.
Yeah.
Very few. My friend James.
Well, when you're 17, there's not. I mean, people, how big could? I mean, well, I guess
there's a few. Well, then no. Then no. Now yes. Now they all could be 6'5", but then no.
It's the hormones in the milk.
Yeah, between 5'10" and 6 foot was the most.
Yeah.
So, but luckily as the years went on, I just kind of got thicker on my own.
Yeah.
No steroids, none of that.
That's Sicilian in you.
Yeah, I just got thicker.
You get like a meatball.
Yeah. Well, I'm not shaped like a meatball face. So, better stop taking Sicilian shots. I do this whole.
I'm not taking Sicilian shots. You just got
stupid bodies, retarded.
Listen. We'll love this.
Yeah, so but yeah, that's basically that. And like I said, I love to act, but I actually like the physical aspect of acting better.
Yeah.
So, getting into it was great. It's I don't do it a lot.
No.
I do a very few things a year. You need to put yourself out there like you put yourself out there with anything. And having a real job, which I don't even really want to talk about a real job because it's really not interesting.
But it's important. It's not interesting, but it's important.
I have a 9-to-5er. There it is. Moving on. Doesn't help me in any aspect of my life besides paying my bills. We're gonna move on from that.
But that's important. That's life.
Okay, it's life. I'm not gonna talk about my bowel movement I just had before you got here, but that's life.
You just talked about your bowel movement. By saying I didn't talk about my bowel movement, you're talking about your bowel movement.
I'm mentioning my bowel movement.
You're
mentioning talking about my bowel movement. There's two different things.
So was it that bad?
Yeah, it's bad.
Was it like hurt your stomach? Did you have somebody hold your hand, but they weren't there?
I invented something years ago called the man pond. Now the man pond, which one day I'm gonna, make money off that if somebody actually buys it. But is if you wipe too much, and I'm a wiper. Like like I don't want anything on. I don't know how we got there, but this is
really going real.
Yeah.
I was pushing the button.
No, it's going there.
Yeah. Oh man.
It gets irritated, and if you're a worker. And you sweat a lot, it's something called swamp ass.
Yeah, or monkey butt.
Monkey butt, I guess, yeah. Monkey butt, never heard that one. But swamp ass.
Yeah.
So what I do is I roll a little piece of paper towel right in the poop chute. After a few minutes, everything dries up, throw it in the garbage, no swamp ass.
That is disgusting.
Everybody gets swamp ass. No, swamp ass is disgusting. You're scratching your butt with your underwear,
yeah.
You're going into your butthole with poop.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
People, all right, so moving on from that.
But what I was talking about, the 9-to-5 thing, we don't have to mention what you do for 9 to 5.
It's not like I do anything that's secretive.
No, I mean, we're in an underground bunker, No. But no, it's important because people listening to this, if they find their way to us, besides our friends and your mom and my mom, is that passion, as you get older, and you have a passion to do something, it's very hard to find the time to do it.
Yeah.
When we were younger, like you said, we've made shorts. We've made festivals.
Real quick, let me cut you off. We made more shorts and we're more creative when this asshole had a 9-to-5.
Yes.
Now he works in the industry and he's about as creative as my ballsack.
It's not about creativity. It's about time, which is what I'm talking. Which is why this whole podcast thing happened. I got married. I had kids. I got happy. When there's something about being not happy that drives an artistic impulse to make these movies.
I disagree with that, but okay.
But I was content. I'm content in my family life. But also, my family life takes up more time because if I'm working 10 hours a day, plus an hour and a half to 2 hours of road time, I'm only home, and I have to sleep. You're only home for a little amount of time. When I had a 9-to-5, I was actually working less hours, and I didn't have the responsibility of helping my wife get the kids ready for bed, wanting to actually spend time with my family.
Yeah.
So I had more time to be like, hey, let's go do something after work. Where now during the week, what I want to do after work is see my kids.
Yeah.
But that also limits my creative output, which drives me nuts because I'm a guy that ever since high school or even younger, I've always had to do something creative. I was a sensitive teenager. I wrote poetry, and then that became short stories, and then that became, that became trying to make little movies, and that became finding my way into the industry. So I've always had this desire to be creative, and that's still there. But it's not my first burning drive anymore. My first burning drive is to get time to spend with my family. But that doesn't mean it's not there, which leads us to the podcast. Because I also want to do something creative. Podcasting is a nice way to do something creative. Now, Mike said we're doing this because we don't make movies anymore, but that's partially true. We don't have the time to tell those type of stories anymore.
I would get through.
Every once in a while we do. We recently kind of told the story when you got engaged. Yeah. We made a nice little short for your engagement that was shown on a big screen, which was a really cool story we can get to eventually. Mm-hmm. So we have done things, and we've done some 24-hour competitions where we're kind of forced into a time zone, and
which works better because then we have
because we let everybody know in our lives we're going to disappear. But it's not going to be disappearing for months or weekends at a time. It's one weekend. We're going to disappear for one weekend and get this short done. Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's not like we've completely stopped, but it has slowed down a lot. So podcasting is a good way for us to get together. It's also a good way for us to get our creative output out there, and it's a good way that if anybody is hearing this that has an also creative output, if they want to get in touch with us, maybe by building ourselves with more people, it'll be easier to get
I'll give you
these
Michael
things done.
Joseph Constantino's number at the end.
No. We have an email address. It's the number 2Mikes, M-I-K-E-S, the number 1, M-I-C, 2Mikes1Mic, @gmail.com, which would be the best way to get in touch with us.
Where I will give you his cell phone number.
Or if you're watching this on the YouTube page, which is the Great Council Entertainment YouTube page, under 2Mikes1Mic, you can leave comments or you can contact me directly through the YouTube page.
Where I will post his number on there.
Yes, and Mike will post.
You will get his number.
But if you're listening to this on iTunes, the best way is to use the Gmail account, which is the number 2, Mikes, M-I-K-E-S, the number 1, Mike, M-I-C, @gmail.com.
So our name for this podcast.
Yeah. Somebody's going to draw a picture of us two licking a microphone in a phallic way.
All right.
2Mikes1Mic.
I want eventually somebody to figure out on their own why our podcast is called that. I don't want to. It shouldn't be that hard, but it's been some time. But we're not going to.
It's been some time.
I don't want to tell anybody. I just want them to figure it out. They figured it out. Like
I'm sure.
Little poop emojis they sent to us when I gave you their number.
That's pretty funny.
When I give your number to them anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a brief little conversation about me and Mike and our and where we come from, which through the the years and through different pies, we'll get more into it because things will pop up where I'll wait, but da-da-da-da-da. And da-da-da-da-da. And we'll get personal. We don't care.
We have to get personal. There's only the two of us. I mean, eventually we have dreams for this podcast of bringing people in. Like I mentioned Method Man, which was joking just now because he's from Staten Island.
But that's real.
But it's not really joking because if we can land Method Man, because here we are again, folks. I don't want to stress this too much, but I am. We're both in the industry. Yeah. And there may be opportunities for us to bring in big names, even though we're not that.
I could bring in some badass stunt guys that have been in the biz for years. They would just do it.
But also, I think we're going to bring in friends. I'd love to interview my grandmother about her life. I mean, there's somebody that grew up in an orphanage, went through World War II.
How old is your grandmother?
My grandmother is 91 years old. She was, like Oliver Twist? Yeah. Her story is like that. She was her mother died, and at the time her father had to work. So they had to place the kids into Mount Loretta in the orphanage over here. And when her younger sister was...
I don't think your grandma would come here.
Her younger sister was taken by a family and was forced to steal on the streets. And there was a whole news article about these kids that were forced to steal for this family. And she has this big, long, storied life that I think is interesting. But I also am biased because it's my family. But even if it was outside my family, it's a story that could be made.
It's the other day I'm in his house. We were getting interviewed for a movie. A movie.
Yes.
A documentary on podcasting. What's
a podcast?
What's a podcast?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to That Man on Fat Man who started this whole thing with us.
Say that one more time.
That Man on Fat Man.
Okay.
It's an offshoot of a Kevin Smith podcast called Fat Man on Batman. And basically this guy, Scott Holden, he was inspired by Kevin Smith to make his own podcast. And this podcast has gained some traction. Smart marketing, play on words. And I got involved with Scott because Scott is shooting a documentary called What's a Podcast? And I came in to help him with that documentary with some camera work. I work in the art department in the union, so I'm not allowed to work outside the art department. I can't work art departments outside the business, but I can work other departments because I'm not part of the camera union. So
Yeah.
I'm doing camera work for this podcast, and I'm helping them along. Advice when needed. We talk about it, and through Scott is where I really learned about podcasting. I'm not really a big podcast listener, or I wasn't. I slowly am starting to listen to podcasts. So through this guy Scott and making this movie, I got really interested in podcasting. So we're really here also because of That Man on Fat Man, which is awesome. Yeah. Scott's a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And what he wanted to do for his movie is he's got big names coming in this movie. He's got Kevin Smith. He's got Neil deGrasse Tyson. We've already interviewed Jim Gaffigan.
I was there for that.
Yeah, you were there for that. He's Anthony Cumia from the old Opie and Anthony show. And Anthony Cumia's got his own show, the Anthony Cumia Show. Sorry, mispronouncing your name, which shouldn't happen. Italians should not mispronounce other Italians' names.
We mispronounce everything.
But that's right. It happens. We're New Yorkers. There's some words that are going to be weird to people that are out in the Midwest. You're not going to understand what we're saying. But
yeah, for a good 3 minutes.
For 3 minutes, that's right. But back to the Scott thing. So what Scott wanted to do is he wanted to get virgin podcasters, guys that were interested in podcasting but have yet to do a podcast, and he wanted to interview them. He wanted a pre-interview, and he wanted a post-interview. So yesterday, me and Mike sat down and we did the pre-interview part, and now we're doing our very first podcast. And sometime in the future, maybe when we get a couple under our belt, he's going to do a post-interview and see how we feel, see if we like it, see if we're comfortable in our skin with this. Because honestly, right now, I'm talking to Mike, and I'm talking to you guys out in the audience, all three of you. But I still
guarantee it's going to be like.
But I still don't feel like myself. Do you feel like yourself? Do you feel like you're still performing a little bit?
No, I feel fine now.
You do feel fine?
I gotta just get through the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't care now. Now I'm just gonna be me. Like if you hear me not speak, it's because when Mike's talking, I lose interest halfway through.
But that's not good because then the audience may lose interest.
I'm just gonna be honest with you, though.
Then you should stop me.
I can't.
If I'm rambling, you need to stop me.
I would never cut you off. You're my
friend. What are you talking about? Then you're not being yourself because you cut me off all the time.
I just cut him off right now without actually. See that? That was smooth, right?
But we get into it. Because there's times we're on the phone, I'm driving home from work, and I call this idiot, and we get into big conversations, and we argue, and we
about
interject.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Let's try that.
See, but you can't try it. It's got to come naturally.
Yeah, let's try that.
You can't put it on.
I'm not. No, you stop taking. See, you're like the people in the paper.
Yeah.
You take people's words for exactly what they mean. Like, I'm not saying let's try to talk. I know how to talk, and I know how to fight with you. It's very simple. Let's have some fun. Let's pull up a topic out of our assholes right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to do.
Well, it's very easy.
Hold on.
He's taking out his man pawn, guys.
I already took that up before you got here.
It's disgusting.
Real quick, we're gonna play some. We're gonna have some fun right now. Ready? Okay, so this morning when I was taking my poop, all the reviews for the Deadpool movie came out.
Oh, the reviews are out.
A bunch of reviews came out.
I didn't read them yet.
Yeah. Only ones with no spoilers. Not
Yeah.
that it's a very spoilerific movie. It kind of they played every.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
There's only so much that can happen.
But which I'm happy about. We're gonna go to like the fan base part of it. Is that if you're a fan of Deadpool, you will love this movie.
Right.
I hate when they say that though.
No.
But
because it's like a slap.
If you don't have any knowledge on the character or you have no passion for the character, it's an okay movie.
Oh.
So, I can't really comment and see the movie, but it was from JoeBlow.com.
Uh-huh. Who knows geek stuff? So it's not like it's coming from the New York Times.
Yeah, no, I listened to that. I really, most of the time, like he made a comment about something, I'm like, well, that's something I would say. Shit, I hope that's,
Yeah.
I hope it's not true, but whatever.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, from what you've seen from this movie, not that we can give a real accurate description about it. I want you in your head, what creeps in your head that you think is automatically going to be bad about the movie.
Automatically going to be bad?
Where you're like, something's, I don't like, I feel like that's not going to go the right way. Or I feel like.
I think some of the humor is going to fall flat.
Yeah.
It's Deadpool's a humorous character, but that doesn't mean it's a complete comedy. He's an action, he's superhero-y. And if you don't like Ryan Reynolds, you're not going to like the movie. Because I feel like it's going to be Ryan Reynolds through a mask,
Yeah.
Very Van Wilder-ish type of humor, very degenerate focused. And if you don't like that, you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
Like, we were talking about a movie yesterday. It was the first time I watched the Jay and Silent Bob super groovy cartoon movie.
Yes.
Which is a complete movie as if a 13-year-old...
I couldn't get through it.
13-year-old wrote it.
Yeah.
Now, I watched it, I got through it, and I laughed. But I wouldn't call it a good movie. But I would say that the humor is very sophomoric. And I wouldn't recommend that movie to, like, my mother. I wouldn't be like, hey, you got to watch this movie. No. It's not for everybody. So if Deadpool's that type of movie where it's not for everybody, then, yeah, it can not do as well as we'd like.
Yeah.
because I'm on Team Deadpool. I want it to do well. I want a movie that was a passion
And
project.
the budget was like what, 30, 40 million?
I'm not. You're more familiar with that. You
The
stay on the pulse with that.
Yeah, the budget was like 30, 40 million. So, but like I said, the big deal is they're not playing it in China because whatever they do in the movie is a little too extreme for China, which is a joke.
Who cares?
Fucking Chinese.
Screw Chinese.
They've
been stealing. They missed the piracy. They destroy our economy.
Yeah,
That's a whole nother political conversation.
Yeah,
I got big issues with the Chinese government.
Yeah, everybody has big issues with the Chinese government.
Yeah, I mean, their whole economy is based off of stealing of other people. I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, they make their real goods, but then they also have this whole back end, which is like 60%. Well, I'm not. These aren't real numbers, so don't fact check.org me. But it seems like it's 60% of their undercutting the movie industry by all this piracy. They make pirate goods. They steal patents, and because they don't have the same copyright laws as other people, they're freaking criminals.
Yeah.
It's a country that supports criminalization of other people's property.
So we just lost all our Chinese listeners.
Screw 'em.
Okay.
Screw 'em. I don't speak Chinese. And it's the Chinese New Year. So it's becoming the year of
Yeah, you got your own
the
day
Mishigash.
in this country.
Yeah.
They got their own day actually given. Like we have off. Thank you for that. So
Yeah.
the Chinese got some
They're
positive.
not too bad. It is. But I should mention that it's February 7th today, 2016.
Yes.
We did. The Super Bowl is coming on later today.
Yes.
So we have no idea. This is going to air. We're going to post this after the Super Bowl. This will be posted either tomorrow, which will be Monday or Tuesday. So we have no idea what's going to happen. So we can go into this conversation, and in retrospect, it's going to look like these guys are morons, because I'm rooting for the Broncos,
I'm rooting for the Broncos.
and Mike's rooting for the Broncos, and they're probably going to get blown
honestly,
out.
let me change that. I'm rooting for Peyton Manning.
That's true.
If Peyton Manning was on the Broncos, I'd give 2 flying sacks. I'd be all for the Patriots. I mean the Patriots. Ugh, the Panthers, whatever the hell they
That's
are.
right, because you're racist. You hate
Yeah,
Cam Newton.
I love Cam Newton.
I know.
Love
Cam Newton was on my fantasy
I would
team
give
all
I
year.
would give my left testicle, my real left
Yeah.
testicle, if he got traded to the Jets next year.
That'd be awesome.
Take my left testicle, you can have it.
And you know I'm a Cam guy. He was on my fantasy team all year.
Yeah.
Yeah, he bailed me out because he was actually, I don't even know how I got him, because he was I picked him in the 7th round as a backup because I had picked up Ben in the 3rd round, and Ben got hurt early on,
Yeah.
week 3, and then I never played Ben
How'd you
again.
do in the playoffs?
I don't know. I didn't even
You
make the
it.
playoffs.
I did.
I didn't make the playoffs. You bastard.
My winning single-handedly knocked him and another friend of ours named Ernie that were both fighting to get in, but if I won, they were both out.
Yeah.
And I got to the championship. I lost, but hey, I got to the championship and I won money.
It's nice. Nice to be the first loser.
Yes, like you, reigning champ. That
I was the reigning champ.
because
What are you
he
talking about,
got
first loser?
he became reigning champ because the person that was champ got the boot. So he just took his
Listen,
spot.
if you can't fulfill your duties as champion,
No, I did.
then the runner-up
I
becomes
actually
champion.
agree with you. I actually agree with you.
Yeah.
I do. But now this year, you're not even the reigning champ.
I am the people's champ.
Oh, you can.
I am the people's champ. I may not be the reigning champ, but I am definitely the fan favorite of our league.
Can I be the VJJ champ? I'm the champ of all VJJs.
You can do whatever you want. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean it's true. The JJ champ.
Anyway, so
Mike's vulgar, man. You're a vulgar dude.
Yeah, I'm not. This is not a PG-13. I'm just gonna talk. If I want to say VJJ, is that even like? I don't think that is.
I don't even know what that. I thought you were talking about JJ Watt for a second.
VJJ
Watt.
Forget it. We'll let the audience just know what I'm talking about.
JJ Watt.
That was her name, but she's used it because it's JJ Watts and she's a female.
Listen, if that guy wasn't big, growing up, when he was like awkward, he must have got picked on a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's too easy. JJ Twat. You know, it's such an easy.
His name is JJ Watts.
I know.
No, you just call him VJJ. You don't have to.
Yeah, but you can even put another emphasis on it. It could be like a double.
That's overkill.
A double. Yeah, exactly.
That's an overkill vagina conversation.
That must have been his driving force, getting picked on. It had to be.
He might have been, but might have not.
No.
He might have not. Maybe he was big.
Maybe he was cool.
He's kind of a hillbilly. Maybe he was working out like a monster. Maybe he was all jacked up and he's like, call me VJJ Watts one more time.
JJ Watt.
Anyway.
Excellent.
I'm rooting for Peyton Manning to win. I like him to get his one more Super Bowl. You know, move on. You know,
I think that comes from being storytellers too, because it's the script, right? It's the movie. Super Bowl 50, 5-0. For some reason, we put big emphasis on these quarter century marks, these half century marks.
Which makes sense.
So it's like Super Bowl 50. This guy's been around. He's been the guy for lots of years. His brother's got 2. You know, Peyton. This could be his last year. The guy riding out into the sunset on a win. You know, the big time Super Bowl hero. But you know, so of course you have to root for Peyton. It's the story.
No, if you didn't like Peyton.
Yeah, but who doesn't like Peyton?
I'm saying, but if you didn't like it, Peyton was a douche nugget his entire career. I wouldn't give 2 flying crap. He's just one of my favorite players of all time.
Because he plays the part of the good guy. Now we don't know Peyton from a hole in the wall. He could be a complete douche, but he seems like he's got all the criteria to be, heroic.
He you know what it is, and I say this.
And you know what's also bad? He's the underdog. So how much more fun is it to root for the underdog when they're the hero?
I'm a Jets fan. All we do is root for the underdog.
All you do is root for the underdog.
You're a Jets fan too.
I am a Jets fan, but I also am a Yankee fan, so it balances out.
I'm a Mets fan. Oh, Yankees. We like to buy our fucking championships.
Listen, no, we don't, because the biggest Yankees win, '98, was mostly a homegrown team. Mariano Rivera's homegrown. Derek Jeter was homegrown. Piazza was homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Pettitte came up through the system.
He was on steroids.
Listen, everybody was on steroids. Everybody was on steroids. Your man Piazza just got into the Hall of Fame.
There's no proof he was on steroids. He might have had other things in his mouth, but he did not.
Oh, you're gonna go there?
No, I'm not bringing. Forget that. Moving on. I don't know. I always want to figure that out.
No, come on, Piazza's a man.
I never liked Piazza.
He's just his attitude was a little soft because he wasn't.
No, he's one of the greatest catchers of all time. But I just, I never liked him. Listen, there are players on my team. I don't like them.
Listen, I'm not a Mets fan, and I was a Piazza fan. His name ended in a vowel, and if I could be a little bit like that, where I can, listen. Growing up, you gravitate heroes that look like you, that you can relate to.
You better be very happy he did not look like you.
Italians.
That forehead.
I liked Italians because I grew up Italian. So seeing another Italian guy do well is great. He was brought up by Tommy Lasorda, who I also was a hero of mine as a kid. So I always kind of watched Piazza as this Tommy Lasorda protege type guy. And wherever Tommy went, even though he was out in L.A., the Dodgers thing, and he was an Olympic, he coached the Olympic team. I liked Tommy Lasorda's career. And this was a guy that came under that system and came to the Mets. He came to New York. Now, while it wasn't the Yankees, I'm not a Met hater. I don't have to be. I'm very confident in my team. A lot of Mets fans hate the Yankees because there's a self-esteem issue there, I think. These guys always win, so they got to knock them down. But being a Yankee fan, I don't even care about the Mets. I can watch the Mets without any gumption. I don't need to root against them. I can actually enjoy watching them because they have nothing to do with my Yankees.
Well, that's the thing.
Nothing.
They have nothing to do with the Yankees, just like as a Jets fan, I like watching the Giants.
Exactly.
They're not in our division.
Yeah.
Like, we could get to the championship together.
Yeah.
We play each other. Well, Jets and Giants play each other every 4 years, but the Yankees and Mets play each other every year.
Yeah.
So it's a good rivalry. But at the end of the day, if the Yankees suck balls and they beat the Mets, but the Mets go to a World Series, it doesn't matter. Oh, we beat you, and you didn't get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, it's not enough for me. It's not like Boston Yankees, like use up fighting to take each other out to get there. So I don't know why people. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the whole. Oh, your team sucks. My team's better. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, we're New York teams. We respect your New York teams. Yeah. I'm not a big basketball fan, but I do root for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I just cannot get on the Nets bandwagon. I can't even enjoy watching.
I like the colors. I like the uniform.
Black and gray is fun, I guess. I like black.
No, it's and the Barclays Center is really nice. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes.
It's really nice. It's a really nice place to watch a game.
Yeah.
I've been there for Disney on Ice, which is really nice to watch Disney on Ice there, let me tell you. Yeah. And I've been there for a couple of Nets games. I haven't seen an Islander game yet, but I'm a Ranger fan.
I'm a Devils fan.
Mike's a Devils fan. If you're watching the YouTube channel, Mike's got his Devils jersey. I gotta cut weight. I'm looking real swole in that camera angle.
I'm looking real buff right now.
I'm not as heavy as I look. Wink, wink. Anyway. But I was talking about Piazza because I want to bring this back to storytelling, right? Piazza has one of the best stories in New York baseball history. After September 11th, the Mets came back and played a game. It was the first game back.
I know the story.
After September 11th, and he hit a home run that is one of the most emotionally packed pieces of sporting histories that has ever happened. So for that touches a nice spot as a New Yorker. It touches a nice spot as a fan of baseball and as a fan of storytelling, which is eventually which is basically what my whole passion's run around. If the storytelling is good, even if in life, I'll warm to that.
He's weird looking though.
Piazza?
Yeah, he's weird looking.
He's not weird looking.
No, he's got a 5 head. He's weird looking.
Yeah, but you're wearing a hat because it can happen to everybody.
I don't have a 5 head. No, nobody. He's just weird.
Yeah, but you're never gonna have a 5 head because you really take care of your hair.
I take care of my hair. Another day for another conversation.
Oh, you don't want to talk about that?
No, not right now. No. Another day, another conversation. Let's not jump around too much.
I don't know.
Well, you know, let's try to stick on something for a little bit. But I'm over Piazza. I don't want to talk about him anymore.
No, I think we lost some people.
The Piazza. Well, no, it's good for him. Going into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So Ken Griffey Jr., one of the greatest ball players of all time. You know, if he was on steroids, he'd been the greatest of all time.
Honestly, we're like past the halfway point of where we're gonna be right now.
We are.
We're out we're at a half hour.
All right, I'm gonna leave. I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
Real quick. I want you to tell the audience the first time we met each other.
The first time we met
I'm gonna
each
give
other?
you to the audience.
Yeah. All right.
Do that.
All right. Mike's leaving the room because he needs to work on the man pond, the sweaty balls. When I got out of college, I wanted to make a movie, and I wrote a script called After Commencement, and I tried to make this movie, and it never finished. It failed miserably. I didn't know what I was doing, and I kind of gave up on doing that. It was a very hard process. I got a lot of it done, but we shot it mostly on like VHS type tapes. This is '99, so this was before the DSLR. Yes, I'm old. But I met this kid named Mike Shane. He worked at a comic book store, and he kind of reinvigorated my passion for movie making. He had this idea for a movie. It was a very rough idea. It was like maybe a 2-sentence pitch, and I was bored, and I had nothing really going on, so I wrote a script for this kid Mike. And from his like 2-sentence pitch and character names, I came up with a 2-hour heist movie. And I went back and forth with this kid Mike Shane, not Mike Zarzana, not my partner. And he added a little bit to the script, and we changed a couple of things, and we said we were going to go into it together and direct a movie. Because the first time I did it, I tried to do it all myself, and I couldn't do it. So I was like, all right, great, I have a partner in this. It'll be easier. The load will be less on me. Little did I know, the load was not going to be less on me. It was actually going to be more, because he ended up being not the exact partner I wanted to be. But he had a group of friends that he had based these characters on that he wanted to be in the movie. And when you're making movies for no money, you will take any help you can get, and you will be confident that you can get the performance out of them if you are detail. I'm a very detail-oriented person, so I knew like down to the shot what I wanted, which is bad. Actors don't work that way. But Mike was one of the guys that he introduced me to. So I went to this kid.
Do you remember the visual? I remember the visual.
I remember to Mike Shane's house. We went to the table. He sat me down.
I was on this side. You were on this side.
We were across from each other.
How about that?
And he was like, Mike, this is Mike. Mike wants to be an actor. And I said, oh, great, you're going to be in the movie. This is the role for you. And Mike didn't give us 2 shits. He was too cool for school. But he decided to do it. Yeah, you were.
I know I did not get 2 shits. He told me about that thing for weeks.
Not me, though. Mike
I didn't tell you.
Yeah.
Oh, I was super pumped by it.
Were you?
Oh, yeah.
You seemed like you were just like, all right, whatever. This is what we're going to do.
Well, yeah. How do I know if it's going to be,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be terrible. I was right.
It was. You were right.
You know what?
Honestly.
I've watched some of the footage.
Mm-hmm.
I still have the one tape when I had my first lovemaking scene. I have that tape.
That's great.
I can't watch it, but I have it. Oh, so bad, so atrocious. Anyway, but if we didn't finish it, and I don't have, but if you pieced it together, it's bad, but you can watch it because it's bad.
Yeah.
Not bad where it's bad. It's like this looks terrible. I can't. It didn't look terrible.
No, it didn't look terrible.
It didn't look terrible. Some of the acting is so bad,
yes.
And not me and him. Honestly, for fresh guys just out there trying, we did a pretty decent job.
Yeah.
But like, what's a face?
I don't even want to mention names.
But you know who I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I do.
Oh man, the anticipation.
Oh, terrible. So bad.
Oh, it was so bad.
But you have to work with what you get. We didn't have money.
I don't remember her name.
People
you remember her name?
No, I don't remember her
name.
Oh,
so
and people were willing to give us their time. And there were some people that were really generous with the time and great. And
she was with the lead actress. She actually.
Yeah, she was very good.
She was good. She really.
And I feel bad that I didn't have anything to give them, but I know this is many years later. So if they ever find their way listening to this,
I was 20.
Yeah, I'm sorry that nothing really came of it, but it was a learning step and a stepping stone for us. A, for our friendship, B, for our creativity and learning what not to do, and and for me it was a big learning step with who to trust. Because I put a lot of trust in our friend Mike, and he really.
I had no trust in him.
He didn't betray me. I didn't know him as well as you. He didn't, because he said all the right things.
I only knew him about 6 months before you.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know him that long.
Oh,
no.
You guys seemed like you were tight.
Yeah, I just get along with everybody for the most part.
Well, he talked a good game. He seemed like he had the passion.
He
didn't have the work
lazy.
drive. Yeah,
he's lazy.
He's a typical guy that expects a lot from other people, but doesn't really give back what he expects.
Yeah.
He gives back in emotion, passion and
If he had it,
and
he would
friendship.
give it.
Yeah.
Since he didn't have
But
it,
he doesn't have the work ethic to do it.
no, it doesn't have to work. No, not at all.
No, he didn't make the proper time for it.
No, he had all the time more. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
He would say he would do things and it wouldn't get done.
He did 10% of it.
So I was constantly in the back of my head playing catch up because all right, this is done. And then I'd go somewhere and I'm like, that's not done. So now I have to not only make time for the things that I was going to do, but now I got to make time for the things that I have to make up for that weren't done, that said were going to get done. And by the end, which is why it
It
failed.
kind of looked like a cheap porn. Like every scene was about to go into a porn thing. Watch it. You watch even the sets. Some of the sets. Porn.
I don't know. I don't watch that much porn.
Watch. Everybody watches porn. Don't lie.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
I almost want us to do. I almost want us, and this I've mentioned to you before, but people don't know. I've almost wanted us to watch our old stuff, the failed stuff, and almost talk about.
I want to edit that.
Yeah, edit it and talk about it as a commentary of what.
Put
not
black
to do.
screens, scene not made, and
Yeah.
then go to the.
But almost like Mystery Science Theater, our own work, and like laugh at our younger selves, because at least then I'll have something to give these people that worked so hard for
I
it.
still think we can make a movie out of that.
We'd have to reshoot everything.
Not out of it.
No, I think the story was good.
Make a movie out of that footage plus adding in us now.
Oh yeah.
I think-
a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, complete whom the God wishes to destroy type
the
comedy.
the first
The road to filmmaking is not
the
easy.
first
for
and
us.
last attempt at making a feature.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it really is.
Yeah.
It's our first and last attempt.
We haven't made another feature.
No
we haven't even
feature.
tried. We've written scripts.
We have a good script.
We have good scripts.
I wish we.
I
said it.
believe our strong point is our storytelling. I believe that we have scripts that with a little bit of tweaking from because every director is going to make it their own.
Yeah.
But I think our scripts have skeletons that are really strong plot wise, and I believe we have a strong grasp of characters and making voices sound different. That I believe any director could take any one of our scripts and make it their own movie,
Yeah.
not too hardly, not too easily, with a fair amount of ease. That they're all sellable and that they're all watchable and good, entertaining stories. Even Fortune Cookie, which is the movie we were just talking about, I believe was a good story. The problem with Fortune Cookie, it plays too much on what was hot at the time, which was Tarantino-esque time play.
Is that what you did?
Well, I did it more. I did more chapters based on characters than time. With that script, I really drove into each character had their own kind of segment and storyline.
Actually, another big thing with that is then I didn't really throw my sense into the script and everything.
Yeah. Oh, you created just about your part.
Yeah, I didn't. What me and Mike do good is not saying that we can't do it standalone, but when we if it's my idea or his idea, when we make something, because we're passionate people, sometimes we make something that we like, and maybe nobody else on the planet likes. But since we work together, we can go into each other and say, well, maybe that won't work. No, I think that's great. I get what you think it's great, but I don't think it's great. Or that's lazy. Or Mike, you're not developing your character. You're just getting to the point where you punch somebody in the face.
We're friends, and we have a lot of similarities, but we are different. I know I can be a little long in my and fall in love with things, and you're a little more fast paced.
Yeah,
which helps. Because you want to chop up the shit.
So we're like Voltron. When we combine, our stuff is good, but and I'm not saying some of our stuff isn't good on its own. But I'm saying when we combine, sometimes our stuff is great.
Yeah.
We just can't make our stuff.
Yeah. But then there's something that you want to say, and it's like just
no.
We help each other out that way too.
Passion
of course.
Yeah, no.
But when we're making something that is like these contests, we're not coming in there with a passion idea, so we can play off each other and start throwing stuff out the door.
Yeah.
But. I'll tell you, filmmaking, we took the road that Kevin Smith told us and that Quentin Tarantino said, which is don't go to school, just get a camera and make a film. But when we first got cameras and made films, we made lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
But I feel we're better for it. And I feel like surrounding yourself with good people is the way to go. Which is two. I have one person I can trust artistically when it comes to that. I've tried other things. Like I said, I was a storyteller. I had a friend who was a really good artist. He's not like phenomenal, and he has the potential to be really good if he worked at it every day.
Yeah.
Mike knows this kid. I don't want to say his name right here. He knows who I'm talking about. I was in the mode of writing at that time because I was in the height of like doing things, and I wrote him a comic book series, 5-issue series, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. This is
You
now
draw one page.
he drew a cover.
Oh,
One cover.
cover was nice though.
The cover was nice. The anatomy's a
You know
little
what the
off.
problem is? That cover was too detailed.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't draw this character like this every fucking, every cell.
But if this is what you want to do for a living, and even to this day when I talk to
But he
the
doesn't
kid,
do it for a living.
even to this day when I talk to the kid, he's always like showing me something new he worked on. And I've actually handed him stuff for like a portfolio. Like, I'm an idiot because not only did I write the 5-page script for him, which is an original idea, I can understand not wanting to do that because it's not an easy sell. It's a character nobody knows. It was an original idea. So I went to him to try to help him out. I said, hey, why don't you make a portfolio for the big companies, Marvel, DC. I handed him a full 22-page script on Captain America that I wrote for him. All right? Now, this is something that I wrote for him to do for his portfolio. And then I wrote something based on Aquaman. They handed it to him. So if he wanted to do a DC character, he hasn't done anything with that stuff either. You know what I mean? So not only did he not come through with like doing a project for his own, he didn't even come through with making portfolio pieces for himself to try to sell himself at Comic Cons or directly to Marvel or DC or anybody.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of dreamers out there, not a lot of doers. Which is why it's important that when you do find somebody that's a doer, that you try to work together, especially when you have limited resources.
I'm definitely a doer. Wasted a bunch of time talking about him. He's lazy.
Well, we're talking about
lazy people.
Well, we're under filmmaking. We're going to be under filmmaking with the podcast thing. So we're talking about storytelling, which is filmmaking, and we're also talking about our lives and how it led to our podcast.
How many lazy people we know.
Yeah, and all the struggles we led to the point where now why we're here doing this, because life.
Because there's only two of us. And we can't get anybody else to help us with things, so that's why like podcasts we can do together.
Oh my God! And there are people that do help. I have my cousin Dave, who I am calling out by name. Other people I won't, but I'll call my family all day long. My cousin Dave, he's a fireman. He works at FDNY. He's got a nice career. He's a guy that's always shot with us.
Oh yeah, no.
He's a good camera guy.
Oh yeah,
so he has helped out, but he has his moments where I have to pull his teeth because since we were kids, Dave was always doing things called ash cans comics.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what ash cans are? It's basically like if you got like a notepad and you drew on the notepad little stories. So since Dave was a kid, I'm talking even pre-high school, he used to do little ash can comics like were derivative off of like real characters.
Yeah.
So he made like a Spider Mike comic, which is me, and he made a Pink Lantern comic, and they're little funny ash can comic books, and he's always drawn. Dave has always been another guy that likes to draw. So I said to him, hey, why don't we do a funny book, like a newspaper strip, like three panel comic. We'll go out, we'll make 100 of them before we release them. I wrote 50 something scripts already for the kid, and I piecemeal handed them out. In the beginning, I gave him one script at a time, and he did like 3 of them that way. Then I handed him 18. I said, just get back to me whenever. That was a year and a half ago, and I haven't seen a panel since.
So you went from 3 and you jumped to 18.
I think it's part of my fault.
That was not a progression. That was just like 1, 2, 3,
no,
18.
Because he was doing it. But something's. I think it's like when you give a kid too much food on their plate, they don't eat. I gave him too much at one time. I think it scared him away from drawing because he was also not confident in his drawing. And I said, well, we're doing it newspaper style, so the drawing doesn't have to be so detailed. Yeah. Because he hasn't drawn in a while. And he's like, oh, it's gonna. And I said, I want it to look bad. I want it to look newspaperish. And as we go on, if it gets better, it gets better. I'm a theory of the more you do something, day in and day out, the better you get at it. Yeah. So it was also a way for me to help push him along in something I know he likes to do, which is draw. I said, well, if you draw every day, you're naturally going to get better. Don't get caught up in the fact that this doesn't look good today. Yeah. Which is where I'm coming from with this podcast. Because right now, I know we've had points where we rambled.
Like right now?
Right now. No, but this is all part... All right.
Rambling.
Am I rambling? But I know this isn't going to be the best one we do. This, hopefully, is the worst one we do.
Mike wants us to make mistakes today, by the way. That was our
I don't want us to make mistakes.
He wanted to make mistakes. First, like... We were trying to decide if we're going to have music in the beginning of... I was like, oh, we'll do it post. Oh, I don't want to do it post. I want to press the button right now. They do it on a soundboard. I go, Mike, we ain't buying a soundboard anytime soon.
No, but I do have a laptop.
Yeah, so
No, but I want us to get to a point where like I don't know if this is faux pas.
See, this is Mike. Like I said, Mike is so anal and nitpicky sometimes that just the idea of putting a song in the beginning feels like, well, no, that we can't do that. It's post.
But I like an original song too.
I don't care what song you put. I'm saying, original song you're not going to get in a few days, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, you use an original song. We have original songs.
2 mics, 1 mic.
Well, we could make a song. You want to write a song?
2 mics, 1 mic.
We're not going to do that. That's
2 mics and 1 mic.
That's horrible. Why would you do this? There goes our artistic credibility right out the window.
I'm Mikey Z and Mikey C. 2 mics on the 1
Well,
mic.
guys, thank you for listening. We're gonna
We're
go
not
now.
done yet.
We're
We
gonna
still got time.
you continue that.
No, we're not done. We got 15
Okay.
minutes of torture left.
Oh, I'm getting tortured with that song right now.
But it's not torture. I'm actually.
That song was torture.
It's not torture.
It was torture.
My voice is like an angel.
It's
It's angelic.
a
in nature.
choking angel.
Lucifer would cry and come back to God if he.
You're
heard
like a
me sing.
weeping angel. You don't know what that is, do you?
No, I don't know what that is.
That's
What is a weeping angel?
Doctor Who. It's a weeping angel. Never mind.
See, this is the thing. This is the first time there's a pop culture thing where you've really went off the deep end, and I have no idea what it is. I know that there's the Doctor. I know it was.
Hello, I'm the Doctor.
I know there was a BBC show. I know I just came.
There
off
is a BBC show.
I know I just came off of working on Jessica Jones with
David Tennant, the man.
who is a very nice guy.
He's the
I got
Doctor.
to meet him a couple of
Matt
times on
Smith's good
set.
too. I'm sorry.
But I have not watched a minute of Doctor Who. So all Doctor Who stuff,
You get hooked.
I refer to
It's
you.
Buffy-esque.
Is
I'll
it
tell
Buffy?
you. It's Buffy-esque.
And who broke your Buffy?
Cherry. You can
Cherry.
say pop my Buffy cherry.
Who did that?
All right,
Who
so-
was so against Buffy?
All right, so Mike was really into Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show.
Absolutely.
And I abused, but I was 20. I was drinking, going out, want to have sex with girls. Like, that's what I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to do. Which, whatever, you're 20, that's what you want to do.
All right.
So one day, he puts on an episode. It's already in, like, whatever. It was the final season.
Yeah.
The final season. So I watch an episode. I'm like, huh. It's like, fuck. So I go get the first season, which I tell you, I don't know how they got through the first season.
Yeah, 13 episodes of
It was
like
rough.
slop. Which is back to my point. The more you do something, it gets better. So yeah,
It was a mid-season.
you know.
Like, something got canceled. What got canceled? Do you remember what got canceled?
I don't remember. What
It's not
this
important.
Is years ago. Come on.
A show got canceled. Buffy came in mid-season. 13 episodes. They went to the second season. First season,
Yeah.
Second season, Third season, ooh, ah, ee, ooh, ah, 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 ah.
Ding dang, wada wada, bing bang.
And then they had a spin-off with Angel, which I personally think is a better show
Me
than
too.
Buffy.
Well, I think Angel's designed to be a better show for us because Angel talked about what it was. We were the age that Angel was supposed to be, kind of.
Yeah.
Not 200 years old, but
No,
a young adult who is a guy who doesn't know what he's doing with his life. It spoke to, because that was exactly where we were. I had a job, which was a good paying job. I went to school, got my chemistry degree for it, but ended up hating my job. I felt so lost. I didn't have a steady girl at the time. I was, floating between one girl or the next girl. I didn't have the heart to get into a relationship because I didn't have the heart to, I didn't love what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I was doing these creative projects that I seemed to be going nowhere, which is what we talked about. So the Angel show was like hit at the right exact time for me, where I just sat and watched that character and was like, oh wow, this speaks to me metaphysically on a different level than the Buffy shows. Buffy was just fun watching a hot chick kick ass. And it was also talking about high school, which I was done with that at that point. So it was
You weren't in college when she was in college, were you?
No, I was already gone. I met you after college. I was already graduated from college.
Yeah, but that season was old.
Oh no, no. When she was in college, I was in college.
All right, so they did a very we could have a whole episode of this podcast on Buffy, which one day we will do.
Well, because Josh Whedon is a big influence on us.
Yeah,
we do.
I love Josh.
I love Josh. I love his comic book stuff. I love his TV
Age of
stuff.
Ultron, not so much.
He did Voltron.
Age of Ultron.
Oh, Age of Ultron. I thought you said Voltron. I was like,
He did
like
great
fuck,
Voltron.
Voltron. What are you talking
He's
about?
doing Voltron.
No, he's not.
No,
Doing
he's
Voltron.
not.
We can't confirm that he's doing. Voltron.
I can't confirm or deny.
Can't deny it either. They may get Josh Whedon Voltron going on. We can't deny it either. We don't know.
Oh man, that'd be good. Anyway, so
But you know what happened with Age of Ultron? The Marvel's getting big for its britches, and they're
Yeah.
becoming almost studio-esque with the influencing and trying to get their hands involved, kind of like what Fox does with the Fox is doing the Fantastic Four movie, and what Fox did with the third X-Men movie. It's almost like studios have to get involved so much that they shit on what they're trying to do before they can back off again.
yeah,
and
but
let the
Marvel,
movies
but
come again.
Marvel. See, it's not the same. It's not like just like these standalone things. They're making there's a universe.
Yeah.
So if you do something like, say, you kill off Iron Man. No, you can't kill off Iron Man.
Yeah.
But I want to kill him. You can't kill him. He's in the next thing.
Yeah.
So you have your, you have your limitations.
Yeah.
But if you're good at something, limitations don't stop you. You just have
No.
to be more creative to get around them.
I honestly think limitations help.
Yes.
A lot. Because it's what we talked about before. Now, we're different people. If I don't have you and I'm left in my own head, all the mistakes that I can't see, because to me they're not mistakes, are going to be in that product. But if you're limited, or if you have somebody pushing back against you and saying no, you're forced to be creative, whether that's budgetary reasons or even idea reasons. I think limitations, editors, they help get to the real root of the story. Now that doesn't mean you can't have things of whimsy in there.
No, yeah, no.
Because that's part of the fun too. That's like the Tim Burton-esque. You have to have things that are your style.
But
you can get drowned in your own
I
style.
use music.
Yeah.
I use music. Okay, real quick. How much time do we have anyway?
10 minutes.
Okay, real quick, music. I use okay. A band, 3 Days Grace. Love 3 Days Grace. The original singer left to go do his own stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he said there was too many producers. Here's the thing. You have a passion. You have your style of music you like. You came in with it. Producers say it's good. It's not great, and it's probably not going to sell like this.
Yeah.
We got to fix some stuff up. We got to work. So why don't you try some of this? That's what producers do.
Yeah.
No, everything you have comes from your head. So you like it, but it's an entertainment business. Great, you like it, so make it, buy it yourself, and continue that story. Because no one else is going to buy it.
Yeah.
You're not going to get paid to do it. You're not going to be able to make more.
Yeah. If you're out there to make money, you have to accept
Well, in the entertainment business, if you're not out there to make any money, then, just make it for yourself, show your family, and call it a day.
Yeah.
And don't
try
tell
to
people,
get it out there. Put it on YouTube for free.
And don't put it on YouTube for free. So this is what I do. You like it. Don't get agitated if people see it and go, I don't like it. Well, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? What do I mean? I don't like it. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that was something that happened to me, but I wasn't there. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I didn't get the metaphor because it's only a metaphor you would get. So anyway, he leaves the band, does his own thing. Find it. You can't. Because it's trash.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's garbage. Then he comes back, joins another band with, I can't remember who's in this, like a guitar player from a big band, like one of those super bands.
Yeah.
And guess what? Now they have a producer again.
Yeah.
Still not that good.
Yeah.
It won't be 3 Days Grace. But that's basically what we're like. Mike produces my things. I'll help produce Mike's things.
Yeah.
We're the producers of each other.
We're sounding boards off each other.
Yeah, that's we produce each other. That's basically what happens.
I believe, to a certain point, I do have to be happy with everything. Because
No.
we're not doing this for money. We haven't been able to do any of this for money. So everything we do is almost for ourselves. I mean, we put it out there. We try. We enter these contests. Everything we do eventually ends up on YouTube at the Great Council channel.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in seeing what we've done, everything is up there. But I used to be an audience of one guy. I'm slowly not being an audience of one guy. I'm being an audience of two guys because I realize, unless it's a real passion project where I'm like, I see it so clearly in my head, this is the way it has to be. I know it's going to be limited from the start, but we're not making money on this stuff anyway. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Almost like the thing we've never done yet, the dinner table, the lanky dinner table guy with the kid.
Yeah.
The idea we talked about, which you actually like.
No, I do like. I'm not. No.
Yeah. But we just never done. We haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
There's ideas that come that stay in there.
Yeah, I'm sure that.
Yeah. I mean, I have a pushpin board at home. Hopefully, if anything happens out of this podcast, right? My biggest goal or happiness that could come out of this podcast is that we find other people like us that are supportive and are willing to give the time and to do some of this stuff.
Think about it. Say you want to be
like build a team.
Yeah.
A good
say
team.
you want to be, you want to be a photographer. You want to be behind the camera.
Yeah.
You want to master that.
Yeah.
But you can't think of anything to shoot.
Yeah.
We do. If you're into acting, if you're into, I love to do storyboards and just storyboards, and you have only one friend like me and Mike have that. For the most part, is me and Mike. For the most part, not this. I mean,
there's some guys. Scott's always usually pretty good.
Yeah. But again, they're floaties.
Good, but they're floaties.
But to build a team, I feel is important. So one day, hopefully, this podcast goes, and we wind up getting those people, and not before it's too late.
We build a community and we build a team.
Yes. So say you have something, or you want to direct it, and me and Mike are like, we'll help you do it, and then vice versa. But we're always there, not just, oh, thank you for helping my stuff. Oh, can you help me with my stuff? Oh, I'm a little busy for that.
Yeah, no, that's happened to us so much.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
We have done so many favors throughout the year for people, and they weren't there when we come back. But you know what? I always look at it as practice. It's like I said, if I'm in a role, I don't act that much anymore. But everyone, it's good to flex the muscles every once in a while because it keeps you going.
Yeah.
And I like to get behind the camera every once in a while. I like to direct every once in a while, just because you do learn something every time you do it.
Yeah.
You learn a lighting trick, or you learn a manipulation trick, which is all directing is. It's manipulating your actor. It's manipulating your camera department. So it's fun to just. Not fun, but it's imperative that you practice. Because you're not going to be good off the bat.
Practice makes perfect.
And if you think you've known everything, I don't want to know you. If you're coming in and you're the best, I don't want to know you.
I am the best at things.
At man-pawning.
Man potting's not a thing.
It could be.
I created that.
Well, then you're the best at it.
I am, right?
You've cornered the market on man potting.
I still get the patents. They call me. I called up once to patent it.
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I swear on my mother's life. Straight up. And
you really did? Wasn't just a
no,
joke.
swear to God. I probably still have emails on my phone.
That's hysterical.
Well, you know what it is? You know why I finally did it? I saw the guard.
Yeah.
Wait, for the front where, people that leak after they pee, like older people.
Yeah.
Like you shake it off and it's still got a couple more. They sell something called the guard, the shield, whatever.
Or they keep it in the chamber.
And they use a football player to push it. So there it is. It's not something that you're going to buy in the store, but if it's you and it's a real fucking thing, it's gross, but it's a real thing. I saw online, fuck, let me try it.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But here's the thing, they wanted me to draw out.
Yeah, you do.
All these things. I'm like,
when you do that type of stuff, you need like a diagram of it, because that's what you're patenting. And now if somebody comes along,
you're going to help me with this?
I can help you. If it's real,
50-50.
I can help you with it.
50-50.
Why not?
Ooh, yeah. 50-50.
We're in the man pod business.
Mega power.
We're going to have our faces on it. Sponsored by 2Mikes1Mic. Man pod.
If it makes money, you can sponsor us. I just want to sell the idea. Just whatever. Give me $1 million. Take it.
I think it's $1 million idea.
Everything. I think everything's $1 million. It's not that much money. No, I won't. I'm a little embarrassed by it.
What are you talking about?
I'll talk to me on the phone.
You got to be like the hair club for men. Not only am I a president, I'm also a client. Just whip it out of your ass.
No.
Yeah, we're shooting in a school right now, guys. So if you hear any background noises, that's what you hear. It's your alarm. When you said you set your alarm for an hour, and they said no, that's not going to work. Well, it didn't work because we still have 4 minutes.
And it's 11:24.
I'm glad I set up the backup alarm. Folks.
Well, you started late.
I didn't start late. I started on time. I did the countdown. We did 3, 2, 1 on the preamble start, and we did a full hour. All right, we're at 3.5 minutes to go.
All right, I want to put them on for the ending.
All right, for 3.5 minutes to go. This is our first podcast, our original podcast. We touched lightly on who we are.
Yes.
All right, we touched lightly on some upcoming films, which is the Deadpool film. We touched lightly on sports. We touched lightly on a little bit of politics, very little.
Yeah.
We touched lightly on our personal relationships with our friends, and our failures as trying to do artistic things.
Look at my headphones like that.
We also touched lightly on how we want to continue artistic things and how we're open to people that want to help. We're open to a community. We're open to helping other people as they help us. But long-term goals. Long-term goals. What do you really, like pie in the sky idea, what do you really want to happen from this podcast?
What I want to happen from this podcast is our own, see this where we're right now? Our own room, our own setup, everything, top to bottom, mic, everything. Mm-hmm. People calling in, me interacting with fans, with friends, guests, making it a job. The job.
The job.
Even if it's not the job, the second job, which is always nice.
Yeah.
The second job.
Yeah, literally.
Like a home. And like I said, it's our first podcast. It'll get better. We'll learn to go on a topic and really try to flush out the topic and really get into it and not jump too much. But we're new at it. So, and we'll get better at everything. Like you said, you get better at everything every time you do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing in these headphones. Why do I keep putting them on?
I don't know, because it keeps you focused, I guess.
I sound terrible on there.
You don't sound terrible.
I sound terrible when you put these things on.
Because you're muffling the sound.
It's terrible.
You're not hearing the sound. Like my headphones, I'm actually hearing what we're talking about. Yeah, go ahead.
At the ending. How many minutes we got left?
Wow, that is a difference. I just took off my headphones, and now everything seems echoey. It doesn't seem so instant. We're down to our last 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute warning, folks. All right.
Mike is very clumsy.
I'm not very clumsy. I am the clumsiest. All right. We're at 2 minutes. I lost it.
All right. So,
oh my God, that's so funny.
It's all right. Don't worry about it.
All right. So for the last 2 minutes, I just want to say what I expect from this podcast.
Okay.
Is I expect us to do it every 2 weeks, like we say. This is going to be a 2-week podcast.
Yes.
I expect us to stick to the schedule. I expect us to get better, and I expect that
2 Sundays from now.
When it's 2 Sundays from now. When it's all said and done, that we leave something behind that is worth listening to, whether that's to a stranger, to a family member, or even to, after I'm dead in the ground, my kids, or even my grandkids or my great grandkids, yada yada yada.
Where they will have downloaded it in their brains at that point.
Of course, it'll be directly beamed in.
Yes.
But we appreciate everybody listening to this show.
Don't ever do that again.
Don't ever do what again?
It sounds terrible.
Oh, it's moving. I'm sorry. I moved the mic. Like I said, we're gonna
practice makes perfect.
Exactly. We're gonna make mistakes. Hopefully, this wasn't too trying to listen to. If you made it all the way through the hour, give yourselves a hand. Me and Mike did it. We made it through the hour.
Shit, we really can just talk, can't we?
I know we can just.
I can talk 4 hours. You want to keep going?
I mean, we could keep going.
Nah.
But it's important. Like we talked about editing and listen.
I don't ever want to
limitations.
edit this.
No, I don't want to edit this.
No.
I know guys that do podcasts, and we still have a couple. I know guys do podcasts, which is why we were talking about. I don't want to cheat. I want everything to be live. Like eventually, you said we want live callers coming in.
Yeah.
So that's why I want us to practice.
Yeah, but
I don't want to put things in post.
You could put the music entering in the beginning. That's not a big deal. Nobody cares about
Yeah,
it.
but if we set it up that it's here that we're cutting into it, what's wrong with that?
When that person does it, yes. So I figure until then.
That person, I could be that person.
No,
we got a computer
it's
right
much
here.
bigger. You just shook
click,
the whole
click,
damn
click,
thing.
click, click,
All I hear is click, bump, bump, bump. Anyway, so well, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. I am Michael Anthony Zarzana. I love you all. I love you, Michael. I'm glad we're doing everything we do together.
I love you too.
I'm glad I met you because if not, I'd be pretty fucking bored with shit. And like I said, whoever's listening, love you guys too because it's mostly friends and family. Actually, probably they won't even listen. I don't think anybody's going to
nobody's going to listen to this.
But
Hector might.
I'm not going to listen to this. How's that sound?
I lived it, Dottie.
So for me, thanks for listening. Love you guys.
All right, I'm Michael Joseph Consolmagno Jr. signing off for 2 Mics, 1 Mic. We'll catch you 2 weeks from now.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.